Is the Dallas-Fort Worth housing market crashing and burning? As some people are saying, well, potentially a little bit, maybe just a tiny bit. My name is Elena Garrett, and I own this blog called elenagarrett.com, where I analyze the stats for 4 main counties in the Dallas-Fort Worth area from several angles every month. So let's take a look at what we have. Are we crashing and burning? Alrighty, so first of all, let's take a look. So sorry, it's a long intro in here. First of all, let's take a look at this little picture. It is called pricing. So for prices in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have red, which is Collin County. We have green, which is Denton County. We have blue, which is Dallas County. And then this gray area is a Tarrant County. So we can see that as far as pricing goes, number one, where we are, we just exited what appears to have been a peak for 2024. That peak was in May of 2024. Now, that peak was prices as of May, which means that those properties might have been entered in April and before, but long story short, peak was in May, and now all counties except for Tarrant County are in a downward spiral. So from that standpoint, what can I tell you? If you are a homeowner, does it mean that the market is crashing and burning? It is not crashing and burning. Why? Because every single year we have a peak, which happens at about the same time every year. Typically, it is May. So what I'm seeing as far as prices is that the prices in this May are mimicking the behavior of the prices in 2023. As you can see, we also had a peak in May in 2023, and then it went down slightly, just like it did in this year. And as you can see, in 2023, the Dallas, Collin, and Denton counties behaved similarly, and the Tarrant County stayed flat through the entire year. Now, those are single family resale homes. So I'm not touching new construction homes, they're the resale homes. So do not think that the new construction homes were affecting the stats here. So from here, I can say, are we crashing and burning? Not necessarily, not from the pricing standpoint, but let's hold our judgment because our inventory numbers are somewhat troubling. And we're going to look at them in a second. But for right now, what I'm seeing is a behavior mimicking the behavior in 2023. So based on what I'm seeing, we're probably going to go in a decline from here on, and we're not going to exit that decline until about February of next year. So if you are a homeowner who currently lives in your home and you want to sell sometime in the next few months, be aware that whatever prices you're seeing your neighbors selling at today, those prices will go bye-bye as soon as this next 2 weeks. After that, you will have to mentally subtract about 4 to 5% of your purchase of the current prices from what your neighbors are selling, from the desired price or from the start price. I will talk about start price a little bit later. If you are a homeowner trying to sell, your best bet is going to be selling in July while the prices are still somewhat strong, because guess what? It is probably not going to get better after that. If you're holding off, doing some small repairs, putting the last finishing touches on your countertops or on your flooring, or waiting for an updated fence or something like that, forget it. Completely forget it. Go on the market now, because your furnace or the new fence or the new countertops are not going to save you, not going to increase your price once you enter this downward slide. If you are a flipper, if you're a flipper flipping a house, the same thing. If you're waiting, if most of your project is ready, but you're waiting on some finishing touches like countertops, new fence, blah, 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 unless it affects your ability to get approved for FHA or conventional, forget about those improvements, because if you add those improvements to the house, but the market slides $30,000 down because of the downward spiral of the market, then you're hoping you're going to put $5K worth of countertops but the market's like 30K, you're in a minus 25K because you waited for the countertops. As painful as it is sometimes to do, sometimes rushing things out and beating that slide is about to start happening. For all the markets in the DFW area is more important than making your house perfect. Remember that perfect is the enemy of what? Perfect sometimes is the enemy of good. Okay, so if you are a flipper, drop everything, start putting your house on the market, even if in your opinion, it's not 100% to your perfection. If you are a wholesaler, just be aware that the prices are about to start going down. So your offers to the homeowners need to start going down together with the prices, okay? The closer you are to January, the more your price offers need to be looking like this. And I know that you're already trying to get everything that you can. I'm just saying that it will get harder and harder for you to find disposition for your cases if you're not thinking about this curve. Okay, those are prices. I'm going to put the link, direct link to this article in the description below, so you can see. So you can read that article without having to go search on my website. Most homes in the last few weeks been selling at about 98% of asking price. So on the asking price, this is 100%. So 100% means you ask for $300,000 and you received an offer for $300,000. That would be getting 100% of your asking price. Right now, we're seeing that during the summer, we're actually up. People are getting very, very, very close to the asking price, but nevertheless, a little bit less than the asking price. So my recommendation for this one, number one, avoid long days on the market. If you're a flipper and you're more than 2 weeks, 2 weekends on the market, you are in trouble. How do you solve the trouble then? My recommendation, if you're an individual homeowner or if you're a flipper and you're more than 2 weeks in the market, you are in trouble and your realtor selecting strategy is not working. Waiting, the bad news rarely get better with time. Waiting for the sudden, somebody will come along, it just takes one buyer, blah, 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 will only get you deeper and deeper into the territory of losing, potentially losing the value of your home, just due to this normal seasonal curve. So what is your solution? We're already on a downward spiral, right? If we were getting almost 100% of the asking price, now we're trending downwards. Now we're asking for 300, but we're getting 280 or 290. So how do you combat that? Number one, if you are more than if you're more than 2 weekends in the market, you are due for a change of strategy. My recommendation is look into getting a 72 sold agent and having a 72 sold agent. If you don't know what 72 sold, it's a program to getting a house sold in 3 days. Getting a 72 sold agent out to put an eye on your property, give you an advice on how to get it sold in the next 3 days, and then sell that puppy in the next 3 days before the home prices start to collapse even further. If you are a wholesaler, just be aware, just like you're pricing on a regular market, you want to be trending this way. The owner wants 200 for his $350,000 house. You go ahead and look at it and give him about 2 to 3% below what he's trying to. Don't go for like, $100,000 cut right away, but look at what is priced and what is trending and try to match that trend too. So this way you're giving your future buyer a little bit more breathing room to actually make the purchase from you. Okay, so that is as far as the selling below or above the asking price. Now let's take a look at the inventory. So the true devil was not in the price. The price problem is nothing compared to the inventory problem. So what is the inventory problem? Inventory are those homes that fail to sell. Inventory are those homes that are trying to find a buyer, fighting for a buyer, but cannot find a buyer. So what we're seeing right now is that we had a huge influx in inventory homes in 2023. Basically, people were trying to sell. They were a little bit in the denial that they thought that prices are the Fed is about to drop the interest rates. My house is going to fly off the market when the interest rates drop, and the Fed didn't drop the interest rates. Those houses kept sitting, accumulating days in the market, and the inventory was accumulating at the same time. Now, it is very apparent that in December, many of those homeowners, most of those homes are actually occupied by homeowners, they're owner occupied. They took their properties off the market to survive the holiday season in peace, and therefore you see this huge drop right before the holidays or right during the holidays. But then immediately after the holidays, you can see that it picked up, and now we are at that higher inventory than we have been in the last 5 to 6 years right now. The inventory now is higher than it was in 2022 when interest rates went up, and it's hard when 2023 when people were still hopeful that their houses would sell. So these people did not sell at that time. They put in tenants in the property. They decided to sell this year, 2023. They tried to sell. Tenants continue to stay in the house. They put new tenants in the house. They didn't sell this year. This year they're trying to sell again. So inventory continues to build up because some frustrated sellers coming to the market over and over and over again. So what does that mean? Okay, if you are a wholesaler, let's just start with wholesalers first. What I'm seeing a lot of times from the wholesalers is behavior that is not very smart. When you're doing your comps to understand how much you should offer on a property, you are looking at solds. You're looking at homes that sold. That's great. That's perfect. I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm saying is ask your realtor friend, or even just simply go on Zillow and put in that house and see how many homes are active on MLS at the same time within 1 mile. And if the number of active on MLS within 1 mile is more than 10, you are in trouble, especially if your home is not new construction and you're located less than 2 to 3 miles from new construction, or if there are new construction homes at all within a driving distance from your potential deal. So whenever you're looking and analyzing a deal and thinking, should I try to offer? How much should I try to offer? Solds are a secondary consideration. You don't want to go into the deal if you're unable to offload the deal. Take a look at the actives. If there are more than 10 actives and at least 1 or 2 of them are new construction, you may struggle to sell that deal, to offload that deal. So for that reason, you need to think twice, and you need to look very hard at how you're going to dispose of it. Do you have a buyer ready already for that property? Or is it going to be something that you're going to be holding the property, trying to extend your option period over and over again, trying to find a buyer? So that's if you're a wholesaler. If you are an investor, if you're a flipper, again, when you're taking the property or when you're reviewing the property that are like off-market properties, same advice. Do not look just at sold. Also look at how many homes are going to be competing with your home if you decide to go into and take on that flip. Also, when you are pricing your flip, when you're almost ready to start pricing your flip, you need to look not at what just sold, because that's great. That's great for an appraisal. That's great for understanding how much you can ask for and still appraise, but it doesn't matter to the buyers. The buyers have no interest in what's sold. They're only interested in what's currently available. And if they have 30 choices with the same price range, they're going to go for the cheapest one. And you need to understand that. You need to understand how you're going to compete against other potential flips in your area. So if you are looking at an off-market property, thinking about making an offer on it, check actives. If the actives are more than 10 or even more than 5 within 1 mile radius, make a lower offer because you're really going to need it in order to finish the flip and offload the property. If you are just a regular homeowner, just be aware the same advice goes to you. Most homeowners are super observant when it comes to watching their neighbors' pricing and watching what homes sold in the market. But then the moment they start thinking about putting their own house in the market, suddenly they're blind and deaf. They are not aware of anybody who's competing with their home. They think that their house is the only house that's available for the buyers to consider. For those of you who are flippers or who are sellers, individual sellers. So this high amount of inventory is going to force you into price cuts. You are not going to be commanding the market. You're going to be beaten up by the market at this point. So be prepared for it. Be humble from the beginning on your price point. And also, my recommendation is if you have not yet started working with a realtor, if you're still flipping, talk to the 72 sold agent. 72 sold agents are trained to sell every house in 3 days at the maximum market price. But in order to do that, they have to be super realistic. They have to be super honest with you about what is possible and what is not possible in the market that you're in. So talk to 72 sold agent and get their take on that before you decide how to price your home. Don't make your mind up yet, because the moment you make up your mind, it's very hard sometimes for anything, including the stats and the other comps, to change your mind of how you want to price your home. So try to prevent yourself from going hard in your own mind on your pricing until you talk to somebody like 72 Sold, where they're going to give you every trick that they will be able to play to get your house sold quickly so you do not join this long list of unsold homes. But at the same time, what they will need from you in order to accomplish that. Okay, that's so much for that. That's the inventory of unsold homes. Months of inventory. So months of inventory, the closer we are to 4 months of inventory in a given market, the more we are coming to a buyer market scenario. So as you can see from that standpoint, we see the inventory and the months of inventory kind of tracking each other. So just to let you know, in 2022, when the 2021, 2022, the years that we all dearly miss, we had about 1 to 2 months of inventory. 2024, hello, we are almost at 4 months, which means that we are formally in a buyer's market for almost all counties. The only county that I currently see, so you can see that the red, which is Collin County, and the green, which is Denton County, are super close to 4. And then we have a little bit below, but 3.5 or so, 3.7 is where we are for Dallas County and for the Tarrant County. So Dallas and Tarrant are a little bit less saturated, but Collin and Denton are getting up there to where the buyers are now in charge of the pricing and the sellers have lost control of the pricing conversation. Okay, demand for homes. Demand for homes is actually measured by how many homes closed in the previous months. So what we can see is that demand for homes every year, except for 2021, 2022, which was a little bit still a little bit skewed by the COVID, but in the last 2 years, which was 2022, 2023, 2023, 2024, we see that it's following the same pattern. So look at this pattern, okay? Check out this pattern. The first peak of the pattern for the demand comes around May, okay? Then it drops during the summer. Why does it drop during the summer? Well, number one, the people tend to go on vacation during the summer, and guess what? When you're on vacation, it's super hard to shop for homes. But number two, a lot of people are just moving their kids from school to school, and they're happy to move their kids during the first part of the summer. But if they haven't bought during the first part of the summer, they tend to slow down toward the second part of the summer. The second peak tends to come around September. Now, what makes the second peak come around September? I don't know. I would say August to September is your last opportunity for the demand. After the demand, it means the number of homes sold. So compare this number of unsold homes to this. If this continues to go up, this is definitely very sharply defining on which month the buyers are shopping and which ones they are not. So in which month the buyers are appeared to be shopping? It is May, it is August, September, in both months. And then there is a tiny little bump usually right around December, right before December. But now remember that closed sales mean the contracts were written about 3 to 4 weeks prior to closing in December. So I would say maybe November. So basically you have 2 more shopping sprees to come this year from the buyers. Shopping spree number 1 will be here. We're already done with this one. Shopping spree number 1 will be here. Shopping spree number 2 will be here. Shopping spree number 3 will be here. If you are lucky, you will be part of this shopping spree if you don't delay your flip or if you don't delay your putting your home on the market. Unfortunately, as you can see, this spree, this little shopping spree is really tiny compared to the overall drop. And the price, even if you catch that shopping spree, guess what? You are not going to get a good price on that one. You're going to be down in the gutters for the year as far as the prices go. So if you are looking to catch the next wave, number 1, do not delay over some small unfinished items. Number 2, talk to a 72 sold agent and see how you can potentially get a higher demand for your property. There's actually ways to get higher demand for your property. And then see how you can get a higher price for your property. And there's 3 ways that the 72 sold is going to accomplish a higher price for your property. Okay. Number of new homes listings. Okay, new home listings means people who are putting their homes for the first time in about 90 days. So as we can see, this year, the new homes have already spiked. So those of you who are coming in with new homes or new flips in July, August, September, October, just be aware that majority of the sellers who wanted to sell already sold this year. The number of new homes, not new construction, but new listings coming in the market will continue to drop every month. So the good thing is that you will have fewer people to compete with. The bad thing is that you will also have fewer shoppers shopping around. And then days in the market. So days on the market right now are not as bad as they were, let's just say, at the end of last year. So as you can see, starting from about September, October, November, December of last year, look at what happened with days in the market. They just shot up almost to the maximum that we've seen them in years. Then they dropped simply because many homeowners took their properties off the market. They got low again. They got up to like 10 days in the market, and now they're on the upswing again. So I would imagine that we are somewhere right here compared to the previous years, which means that with every coming week, with every coming month, we're going to have longer and longer and longer days in the market. And what does that mean? Some people say, I'll hold my house until it sells. It only takes one buyer to buy a house. Yes, but what about your holding costs? If you don't owe anything on your property and your holding costs are 0, great, that waiting strategy might just work for you. If you're paying mortgage on your property, you are potentially, every time you pay a mortgage on your property, take your desired monthly pay, take your desired sale price and reduce your mortgage amount from it, because you're basically waiting to get your price while draining money at the same time. So for right now, the picture looks like this. We exited a low days on the market time, or with time period, and now we're swinging back to the long days in the market. So how do we combat long days in the market? There is only one way to combat the long days in the market, and that is pricing your property correctly. Not saying, let me see if I can ask for 400, and if nobody offers it, then we can negotiate it to 350. Don't do that. That's a failing strategy when you're in that upward swing. Sorry, I can talk today. On days in the market when buyers, the longer your house sits in the market, the stailer it becomes, and the more buyers say, you know what, if nobody bought it in the last 25 days, something might be wrong with the house. Even if it looks like a great flip, even though it looks perfect and flawless, the fact that nobody bought it by now tells me that I should wait to make an offer on that house, or I should lowball those people. So long story short, long days in the market is acidic to your home value. It's called negative social perception. It's like a girl who's nobody offering to take to prom. It's like a girl who nobody wants to dance with. You don't want your house to be the girl that nobody wants to dance with, because then nobody wants to dance with a girl that nobody wants to dance with, right? For you to avoid long days in the market, two recipes. Either be super smart on your own about your initial pricing, or hire or at least consult with somebody to sold agent who's going to put your head on very straight on what it will take to get you on with your life and your house sold in the first 3 days. That's all I have for right now. Hey guys, if you're sorry, I forgot about the wholesaler in this case. Wholesalers, you are not exempt from this trend. Do not try to take your house under contract for 7 days or 14 days and expect to find a buyer. If it is taking longer time in the market to find an on-market buyer, a retail buyer, it will take you just as long or longer to find an off-market buyer. So consider giving the long days in the market on the market, consider increasing your option period. Because otherwise you'll be running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to find a buyer when all the buyers are watching this and saying, maybe I should wait a little bit, maybe prices will drop again, right? So either go smart and aggressive with the price, or consider doing a longer option period. That is all I have for this specific display. Now, there are some interesting national graphs that might be worthwhile going over. Let me do a second video on those, because our national ecosystem is affecting, or what's happening nationally, national trends are affecting the DFW trends. Even though real estate is super local, there are some national trends that are affecting our local DFW trends. So let's do it as a video number 2 so we don't make this too long. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned. This is Elena Garrett for proper disclosures from my broker. This is Elena Garrett, and I happen to be a real estate agent in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, and my broker name is Keller Williams Central. So here is my compliance disclosure, so nobody can say that I didn't say that. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you later.